Morning, everybody. This is Corey Windler. This is a 853 Module 8 case study. Get this child out of my room. Here are the facts. This is what we know. Susan Green is a new special education teacher at Schuyler K-12 in the Fulton School District. The district shares resources with 16 other schools trying to save money, special ed, psychologists, several other things. Susan has replaced a teacher who had been in the district for over 25 years. Miss Nancy Taylor is a third grade teacher who has been there for 10 years, who's respected by the faculty, thought to be a pretty good teacher. And then there's Carl Hughes, who's a third grade boy in Nancy's class. What do we know continued? Carl has an IEP for a behavioral disorder. His siblings also receive services for emotional problems as well, and his parents are divorced and have joint custody of Carl. They just recently got divorced about 3 months ago, and it's been very bitter. The parents don't get along at all, and they really don't have any time for Carl. And that's creating problems in Nancy's classroom. She wants him out of her class because he has become aggressive towards her and some of the other teachers. According to her. So, what do we need to know? Why is Nancy hostile towards Susan? We need to figure out what's going on between them. If it's just because she's having to deal with Carl and not getting any help, or doesn't feel like she's getting any help, or if she just had a really good relationship with the previous teacher who had been there for 25 years, and basically just trying to do everything with Carl and not help her out. Second thing is, what type of training has Nancy had regarding students with behavioral disorders? We need to know if she's ever had any training at all, and if she has, what she has had. The third thing that we need to know is, what is the truth regarding Carl's current behavior? Is he really doing exactly what she says he's doing, or is it just she's stressed out a little bit by him and doesn't really know exactly what's going on? So we need to figure out what's going on with that. And the third one, how can we get Carl the help that he needs to become successful in the classroom and outside of the classroom? He's obviously has a lot of things that he's dealing with right now, so hopefully we can get him some help. All right, so the problems that I feel like are, number one, the strained working relationship of Susan and Nancy. They're obviously having some issues working together, and it's causing rift between them, and Nancy just wants Carl out of her room, and obviously there's something going on there, so we need to try to figure that one out. The second problem is Carl's lack of support at home. That's obviously a big one, in my opinion, probably the most important one in this case. And the third one, Carl's classroom behavior. Obviously, if Nancy's having to deal so much with Carl, she's not being able to focus on her other students, and that becomes a problem. Category 2, proposed plan of action with strategies for implementation. My first plan, obviously, is to talk to Carl's teachers. He's in third grade now. He's had other teachers in the past. I'd like to meet with them and talk to them, as well as Nancy, all of them together, and discuss what has previously worked with Carl and what has not. If there's really any major changes in his behavior from previous years until now, that's my first thing that I would like to do. The second thing I'd like to do is find a male teacher that's willing to work with Carl. I think not having any parental guidance at home and spending time with his father and his mother doesn't have really a lot of time for him. He's definitely going through some things. If I can't find somebody in the building, then I'd obviously want to try to find somebody to get him set up with big brothers, big sisters, Youth Horizons, something like that, just to where he can get a little bit more support, especially when he's having a bad time. If his behavior is really peaking, I'd like to be able to have him go out of the classroom and go speak to somebody else and just kind of talk through what he's going through. The third thing that I'd like to do is meet with Susan and Nancy individually together. I'd like to discuss some ideas for how they can work together better, as well as some training that Nancy might be able to go through that will help her deal with Carl's behaviors. And it'd also be good for Susan as well. Even though she's a special ed teacher, it could definitely help. And that's something that could also be used in the entire building as well. So I kind of like to branch off from that if it looks like it'd go that far. But at first, definitely my main focus would be getting Nancy some support that she needs. So I'd like to go through some training with her. How to resolve the issues based on promoting the success of all students. The first thing that I'd like to do is obviously use a team approach. That's what's going to be best for Carl's success. Obviously, we're going to have to work together. He's definitely going through some emotional issues and having a very trying time. And if we don't work together, then we're not going to be able to best support him. And we're going to just have to keep trying. Obviously, with emotions and relations and things like that, there's things that are always going to be difficult, and we're just going to have to keep working at those and continue to learn more about what works with Carl and what doesn't work with Carl. Second thing would be finding a mentor to help him with hard issues and let him know that somebody else cares. I think a lot of times with Carl and obviously his brother and sister as well, they're obviously reaching out for attention. They're acting out to get somebody to care about them, show some support, and just listen to him. So I think the mentor or somebody who would be willing to spend some time with him would be huge to success of not only him, but everybody else around him. And the third thing, promoting success for all students, would be building relationships of staff to create a positive student-focused environment. If the staff can work together, that obviously goes a long ways towards helping the students in several of the things that they've been dealing with or having issues with. Category 4, debriefing the problem by what you were thinking, feeling, and valuing. Obviously, my thinking, I need to go back to what can be done to improve the teamwork so that we can do what is best for Carl and for Nancy. And obviously, Susan is obviously dealing with some things here too, because it's all coming back on her, and she's feeling some stress and feeling like she needs to be the one that fixes this. So that's kind of where my thinking was going. What can we do to improve those things? What was I feeling? My feelings went to how can Carl and Nancy get the support they need to both be successful. Carl obviously needs to be more successful in the classroom. He doesn't need to be kicked out. We need to figure out how him and Nancy can work together, or at least get him on a path towards better behavior in the classroom. And my value was I'm valuing what was best for everybody and how we can make that happen. This is not just about Carl. Obviously, he's very important, but if we don't help Nancy, that's going to definitely affect the other kids in the classroom that she's teaching, and that will have a negative impact on a lot of things. The 3 unresolved issues that I can see are, number 1, how can Carl get the support he needs at home to be successful? Obviously, in the school setting, we really don't have a lot that we can do with that, but if we can help with a mentor, hopefully that will work out. The second thing is, how successful will training and support be to help Nancy? Just because you go to training doesn't mean that things are going to be fixed. I've been through a lot of things in life, and that's just part of it. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't, but you got to try different things, and hopefully you'll find a solution. And the third thing, will a mentor change Carl's behavior? Hopefully by working with that, but we don't know at this point what's going to happen. Alright, standard 2, reflection. Provide evidence that you as an educational leader promote the academic success and personal well-being of every student by enhancing the instructional capacity. The first thing that I did that would provide academic success for all would be to provide training for Nancy so that she can better help Carl. And by doing so, that's also going to turn around and that's going to help every other student in the classroom. Hopefully, with the improvement of his behavior, then the rest of the class will also follow in line, and they'll be getting the teaching that they deserve to get. Second thing would be finding him a positive influence to help him deal with his behavior and give him some attention. Hopefully, by working one-on-one with a male teacher, he would be able to get a little bit of support that he's probably not going to get in a general education classroom. So if he does have to leave the room and go to see his mentor, he can at least talk about some of those things. And if not, it might just be, like I said, if he has a big brother or big sister, if he can just get on a phone and make a phone call. So number 3, work collaboratively to provide each other support. That one's a huge one. I think if Susan and Nancy and all the other teachers can find a balance to help each other out and work together, even if they're frustrated, at least they can discuss some of the situations going on with Carl and hopefully over time things will tend to improve. Promoting the personal well-being of every student. The first thing, obviously, working with Carl makes the classroom environment more positive by giving him a mentor. If he's being successful in the classroom, then everybody else is probably going to have a little bit more success as well, because they're not focused on him and problems. Instead, they're focusing on the positive. Second thing, Nancy can focus on teaching all of her students instead of dealing with just Carl. Hopefully, by going to training and learning some strategies for coping with behavioral disorders, Nancy can learn just different things that can help Carl out. Third thing is training can help all teachers, not just Nancy. Obviously, if we help Nancy, it might be something that she can come back to the school and give training to some of the other teachers or help them out with behavior disorders. Obviously, Carl's going to be there another couple of years, so if one of them gets trained, hopefully they can help each other out in that aspect. The last thing is enhancing the instructional capacity. By helping out Carl, we'll help future teachers deal with Carl, like I just talked about a second ago. If we can help those future teachers deal with him, that's obviously a good thing for the school. Second thing, provide support for all teachers by getting training and support they need. Hopefully Susan will learn some things as well. She's a first-year teacher, but she's done an excellent job, in my opinion, of dealing with this case. Just has to learn to work together. And I think that as she gains maturity and a little bit more time, some of the other teachers will probably respect her a little bit more. And the last thing will be provide the foundation for future instances of dealing with behavior issues in a classroom. As an educational leader, the most important thing you can do is to learn from your mistakes. We all are going to make them. We just have to learn from them, and hopefully we don't have as many as we. Hopefully we don't have very many. So hopefully that all of those things combined will be beneficial to everyone involved, and hopefully it will be able to build a better future for the school. Thank you for watching.